The following video contains scenes of violence. Viewer discretion is advised. You took a man's life, then told us a lie. A U.S. citizen who opposed your threats. Captured on video by a discerning eye. A medical professional who helped our vets. He was sprayed and beaten, then shot many times. This is but one of ICE's many crimes. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome once again to my channel, Stop Effing Killing. I'm your host, the MOD, also known as the Method of Delivery. Before we get into today's topic, please like, share, and subscribe if you find anything that resonates with you. So, today we're going to talk a little bit about Alex Pretty shooting and ICE enforcement. Now, the Alex Pretty shooting happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota a few days ago, and it comes on the heels of the Renee Nicole Good shooting by ICE agents. Now, so let us talk about the Renee Good shooting that happened in Minnesota. Let's take a look at that footage.
By a witness that spread across social media soon after the shooting, captured Good's SUV idling across a residential street where ICE agents were conducting an immigration operation. An officer approached her door and ordered her out. She reversed briefly, then began to drive while turning to her right, prompting the agent, since identified as Ross, to jump out of the way and fire 3 shots into the windshield and then the window as it passed.
So, as you can see, Renee Good was shot multiple times by ICE after trying to leave the scene of one of their operations. Now, I'm not saying that she was correct in driving away. However, the agent literally stepped in front of the car as she was trying to turn away from him. You can clearly see that she was turning to the right in the video. He shot her multiple times. He didn't have to step in front of the car and use deadly force. Not only that, multiple sources are saying that after ICE shot this woman multiple times, she had a pulse for at least 6 minutes. Some articles have said 8 minutes. However, no CPR was administered at all. Not only was no CPR administered, the ICE agents actually prevented medical personnel for multiple minutes from coming in and trying to assist this woman and trying to keep her alive. So not only did the ICE agent voluntarily put himself in harm's way, then use deadly force, they also prevented her from getting medical help for several minutes, which meant that she suffered before she perished. And see, this is what's wrong with an agency that's out of control. How are you trained for CPR, but yet you refuse to administer CPR? Not only do you refuse to administer CPR, you don't allow medical personnel to get to this woman in a timely manner to save her life. Before I watched any video, I actually watched the press conference that was conducted by the head of ICE in the Alex Pretty shooting. Let's take a quick look at a little bit of that.
During this operation, an individual approached U.S. Border Patrol agents with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The agents attempted to disarm the individual, but he violently resisted. Fearing for his life and the lives and safety of fellow officers, a Border Patrol agent fired defensive shots.
Now, according to the head of ICE, Mr. Pretty approached the agents with a 9mm handgun. They tried to disarm him. He violently resisted, and he was shot in self-defense. Now, this was what he said before I ever saw any of the footage from multiple angles of this incident. I listened to what this man said, but what I saw was not what he said. Pretty was sprayed in the face. after he stepped in to try to help a woman that ICE had pushed down. He was taken to the ground. He was kicked, punched, and beaten by multiple agents. They took a gun off of his waistband or out of his waistband area as he was covering up, trying to, protect himself. And then after they took the gun from him, he was shot multiple times and unalived. That is what I saw.
It's shot and killed him while he was taking part in a demonstration yesterday. The Department of Homeland Security maintaining that he charged at agents with a gun. Witnesses continue to dispute that. The Border Patrol commander defending his troops' actions. The governor of Minnesota blaming the White House for the unrest.
According to The Guardian, in 2025, 32 people died in ICE custody. Now, that number is definitely low because it has been noted in multiple, articles about in custody deaths that ICE has many times they will release people that they know are about to perish. They'll release them after having denied them health care, after having, not fed them while they were in custody, after, all types of mistreatment. They'll release them and then the person will perish. And because they're not officially in custody, they don't have to report the person's death. As of January 25th, 2026, 6 people have already perished in ICE custody. Now, you might say, well, why is that a big deal? It's a big deal because these are human beings. Regardless of if they're illegal immigrants or not, they are human beings. And they are not just targeting illegal immigrants. They're detaining and arresting U.S. citizens, people who are protesting. They're setting up roadblocks where you have to identify yourself as an American. That's wrong. They are violating people's constitutional rights left and right every single day. This organization reminds me of another organization that existed during World War II. Let's take a little look at, this organization.
Gestapo agents possessed arbitrary but unchallengeable powers of arrest, incarceration, and execution. It was of this institution that Heinrich Himmler said, "We do not expect to be loved by too many."
So, Hitler's Gestapo, or secret police, during Nazi Germany, World War II, they came for the Jews. And once they rounded up all of the Jews and, detained them and put them in the camps and exterminated many of them, they came for the regular citizens. And ICE is already coming for regular citizens, for the Alex Preddies and the Renee Nicole Goods of the world. They're already coming for those people. People who are protesting, people who are saying you're out here doing wrong, you're violating people's rights. They're unaliving them as well, U.S. citizens, and then getting on TV and lying about what has happened. Now, who do we report to? What do you do if ICE violates your civil rights? Well, let's look at another excerpt from an organization that existed during World War II.
1936, Himmler had achieved his long-striven-for goal of undivided command of all Germany's police forces, secret or uniformed. The Gestapo gained immunity from any challenge in the law courts. In future, any appeal against the Gestapo's action could only be heard by the Gestapo itself.
So, first off, I would like to thank the War Channel for the footage. But during World War II, people literally had to report to those who were oppressing them, the Gestapo. And in our case, in this country right now, ICE agents are masked. Most of them. The vast majority of them are wearing masks. So you don't even know who they are. They have no identifying marks other than maybe a badge or a vest. They have no name plates, no car numbers because they're driving, plainclothes cars. Hell, you don't even know if they're actual ICE agents or not. But they're arresting and detaining and unaliving U.S. citizens. And the Supreme Court's okay with it. Our federal government is okay with it because people on both sides, Republicans, Democrats, and independents, are not speaking out about this. They're not trying to rein in the president's power. Because in the end, our turn is coming. They're not stopping people asking them, are you a Republican? Or are you a Democrat? They're stopping people, to include U.S. citizens, arresting and detaining people, to include U.S. citizens, and asking them, are you a U.S. citizen? Were you born here? That's what they're doing. And eventually, if we don't put a stop to this, if we don't speak out against this, this is the reason why this video exists. This is the reason why I made this video, because I'm speaking out against not just the Alex Preddy or Renee Nicole Good or, those people who perished in ICE custody in 2025 or so far in 2026. I'm doing this because these individuals, this organization is violating and unaliving the rights of everybody, of U.S. citizens as well as immigrants. And we have to speak out against gratuitous violence, because that's what I saw in that video. In those multiple angles that I watched, I saw gratuitous violence, because in the end, there is no you, there is no me in this struggle, in this protest, in this fight against an organization that is clearly out of control and akin to the Gestapo of World War II Germany. There is only we, and we must speak out against gratuitous violence and stop the fucking killing. Thank you. My heart goes out to anyone who has lost their lives or has been violated by this organization, and have a safe day.